session here in South City, Princeton Heights, St. Louis Hills esque, to review the new movie with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, 3,000 Years of Longing. Now, right off the bat, there's two great actors. She brings that maybe eccentric but versatile. I mean, she's been very funny. She was so funny in Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, but she brings a very versatile palette to the movies. And then Idris is just fantastic, whether he's playing a villain, a drug dealer, a detective, whatever. He could just be playing Idris, eating hot wings and laughing like a funny Brit. But this movie, directed by George Miller, now that's the equalizer. That's the one, two, three. That's the third punch. That's the factor that will probably get a lot of people to go watch this movie. That will see the trailer and the poster and the plot and go, "What the fuck? What?" Pour a little bourbon in this thing and then replay this movie. Late August release, so can't really tell you if that's more of a kind of a we believe in it, but we're not sure kind of thing. She's not a big draw when it comes to box office, not by herself or a co-lead. Idris is to an extent, so but it's more of a drama. I can just tell you that it is a talky mix of The Shape of Water from Guillermo del Toro and Aladdin, the Disney film that every parent, or even somebody in their 40s or 40 like myself will know well. It's a mix of that. Idris Elba is a jinn. D is at the beginning of the word, but in this, the way you say it, it's quiet. He plays a jinn who shows up at Tilda Swinton's door. She is a scholar who is traveling to Istanbul. Kind of, you could say sleepwalking through her life. She's smart. She's dedicated. She's got a kind of an eclectic sense of humor. It's just she's a little quirky, but you can tell that maybe she's just not getting what she wants out of life. Even at a public conference, she's mind is drifting and she's starting to see things. And the audience doesn't know if it's a special ability that she has or she's having this awakening. And I got this everywhere or everything everywhere all at once kind of vibe. Michelle Yao, I got a little bit of that early on. The Daniels, the movie that I'm gonna have to watch again, but I definitely liked the first time. Didn't love. And this movie kind of plays out as Elba showing up at her door and granting her three wishes. And the reason he has to, he's trying to reclaim his own life, and he has his own backstory. He's not just a very good-looking, bald-headed genie. Yes, Idris has big ears, and he is a giant who is trying to fit in a living room, and then he shrinks down to the human size. And look, for the first hour of this very long seeming, the pacing is not great. I can just tell you that right off the bat. It just whips you around in this way that you're not ready for, and I didn't really enjoy. But the actors keep you in it until I would say the third act is where it really just starts to become detached, and you're just like, okay, this thing needs to end. Let's put a stamp on it because this movie wanders a lot. It's got a lot on its mind, and I think a rewatch or maybe even a rewatch down the road where you can kind of clear it out of your system and then go at it again. Because George Miller doesn't make a lot of movies. And this is the last movie he made was called Mad Max Fury Road, and it kind of revolutionized what filmmakers could do at whatever age they wanted to. He was in his late 60s. He's 77 as this movie comes out today. Uh, it's a far ass walk from Fury Road. I mean, a lot of the movie plays out like good luck to you, Leo Grande. Or Leo Grande. Like the guy was a Starbucks drink. Good luck to you, Leo Grand, which was a Hulu original with Emma Thompson. And I want to say Daryl McCormick. I think he's a very talented up and coming actor who held his own with Emma Thompson. And he was kind of a you would say a call boy, not a call girl. He was a guy that comes and pleases the ladies who cannot find love in a relationship or don't want it. And it so happens that Emma Thompson, is his next client, and they form kind of a very different kind of relationship than just sex. And in this movie, it's not like it's overly romantic with Elba and Swinton. I mean, he's essentially somebody trying to find freedom through granting wishes to somebody who doesn't want them, and that's the crutch of the plot is that she doesn't know. She's like, "Why do I need him?" Because the one of the better parts of the movie is that they go over all the bad things that being granted wishes can do and how it never works out. Something happens, somebody dies, and somebody else is left with a scar for choosing the wishes or giving them. So they go through all that. And then the second half of the movie, I don't think they really, I don't think the writing understood where they wanted the characters to go because that's where it lost me a little bit. Was right at the hour and 15-minute mark. I'm like, okay, come on, what's going on? It has to be something more than where I think it's going. And they put all this backstory into Elba's character and all the different lives that he's had to live. Of course, as Jin, he's just you're around forever unless somebody, even when somebody bottles you up and throws you to the bottom of an ocean, you're still there as somebody can unearth you. And that's what happens here through a series of events. And I just think it stretches the premise out to a point where you're either going to be in and you're going to take that boat ride with Miller. And I think he co-wrote it. The name of the co-writer is fleeting me, but he co-wrote it and directed it and he produced it. I mean, it's when he does a movie, he does it. He works like kind of like Michael Mann. Michael Mann's making kind of a comeback with Heat 2 and Tokyo Vice and you know Ferrari. He's making a biopic about that. But George Miller doesn't just work; he does the whole thing. And I guess I can say I respect his vision, but this movie falls into that slightly less than Green Knight territory. Another movie from A24 that people loved, or you just kind of were put off by. And in the end, I was put off by the movie. I didn't understand. I didn't get the emotional impact. I didn't like its eccentric reach. Movies like this, you have to be able to bring that moviegoer in who may not be the George Miller fan. And I'm not saying you have to make a movie for certain people, but you have to make one that's a little more accessible and not just with a handful of pretty good actors. So Elba and Swinton keep you invested, even though in the end, for me, what was a good idea and what was kind of an odd but maybe workable mix turns out to kind of spoil in the third act. And I think this is one you can either, if you're a George Miller fanatic and you want to see what he's up to, do not expect Fury Road. Don't expect really much of what he's done, or at least in a while. This is him venturing outside his comfort zone, and I respect him for doing that. Everybody should respect somebody for going in that other direction. That cerebral, again, everything, everywhere, all at once, but kind of slowed down to a very talkable level. It's like that kept talking to Jamie Lee Curtis at that desk for the whole movie. And she's like, I'm going to take you down. And Jamie Lee Curtis's character go, why? And I go, well, I have to. And why? And that's what this movie's all about. Why am I getting three wishes? Why are you here? Why did you make those mistakes? And we've seen that done in better fashion before. So for me, if I'll give it the old, let's use 4-star rating. I'll give it a 2 out of 4, and it gets a 2 due to Elba and Swinton going for it, not to George Miller's rather put off, at least me. And people go, oh, he just likes action movies, and no, my favorite movie last year was Pig, which had one action scene of Nicolas Cage getting his face bashed in. But this is a movie that will appeal to certain people, and I think it'll be awards friendly. I think it will. Or right now it's at about 65%. It'll stay around there and it'll be 55 to 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it'll kind of be liked, but also again, like at least for me, living on an island where I don't call it enjoyable. That's all I got. Right under 10 minutes. in the buff. Hope you enjoyed this quick episode. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.